Eyes, of course, are on the King Charles III, and the fact that he's offered an olive branch out to his rather wayward younger son, and of course the cable TV actress wife Meghan Markle. But now there's a bigger picture emerging, not just between the King and of course the former royal known as Prince Harry, but this time around it is the Prince of Wales, and something that he feels very, very strongly about. As ever, let me explain. Morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London, and as ever, nice to have your company. By the way, I wanted to share this with you. I love these things and I'd love your comments on this. You know, these new phraseologies that people say, don't you? You know what I mean? Instead of saying my mistake, my bad. Oh, does that get, oh, what's that about, you know? And then when you say, you know, you're sitting down or just relaxing, oh, I'm chilling. Really? I thought chilling was when you had a cold and you needed some chicken soup or something. Do you know what I mean? All of these new, have you noticed those new phraseologies that people have? And you kind of think to yourself, why can't they just say normal words, you know? Now, somebody pointed out to me in the 60s, it all was around, and probably in other decades too, because if you were cool for cats, weren't you? It was happening, it was swinging baby, all of that sort of thing. Cool daddy-o. So maybe I'm just don't say it. We're not getting old, but can't you just use the proper language? Oh gosh. Back as ever to your breaking roll story of the day. The story really focuses on the fact that, as we know recently, Prince Harry's been on the marketing and publicity trail for his book and trying to get sort of things as and where he can to make sure that it still retains the top spot. It's still there after 4 weeks of release over here in the United Kingdom. Not selling as many as one can imagine at this point, but still a substantial amount, particularly in this very difficult cost of living crisis and book world. Not doing badly at all. But it was this particular comment that really upset and offended, as one can imagine, the Prince of Wales, and not just the Prince, but the Princess of Wales too, because really this was sort of a thing that should have been left off the open track, you know. It wasn't really anything to do with him, but of course he knew that this would get headlines. It's the sort of thing that the publishers, the marketing team, absolutely adore, because once again it brings focus back to the book. And it was this comment basically that Harry claimed about being a spare, and how he hoped the same thing wouldn't happen to George, Charlotte and Louis. Now, as you can imagine, this did not go down well with the Prince and Princess of Wales, but it's taken some time for it truly to emerge out, and this is now going to be yet another initial problem for the King forwarding his coronation on May the 6th. This is because, far from Harry wanting a very public apology for his wife, the cable TV actress Meghan Markle, the Prince of Wales, Prince William, rightly so, thinks that he should retract that statement, and in public. You've got to feel sorry a little bit for King Charles, trapped in the middle here, because obviously it's two Waring brothers. But on the bigger picture, they were nothing to do with him. He did utilise them within his story. He didn't need to do that. And can you imagine if that had been the other way around, and Harry and Meghan would have claimed that they would have invaded their children's privacy? All the while, they're quite happy to sell them on camera for that Netflix docuseries. So you can see exactly why this has become a very thorny topic. Now, as the two are not speaking, this is left down to, of course, courtiers to relay certain messages, and they are whatever people are thinking. But the bottom line is, Harry, as ever, doesn't seemingly think he has anything to apologise for, and right now it's at stalemate. But it's difficult to say whose side you're on, because obviously we've seen that Harry's not the brightest bulb, says the wrong things and then claims it never happened. It wasn't there. You know, it wasn't him. It was all down to the press. But the bottom line, there this is in documentation, on tape, spoken by him. And the bottom line is, this is the biggest problem now, that, as you can imagine, if he returns back here to the United Kingdom, William feels very strongly about. If there's one thing that the Prince and Princess of Wales are very, very private about, it's their children. You can see they're a dedicated, loving family. You can see the children are very happy. And to say something like that, which will remain in public forever, is really cruel and very damaging for the Prince and Princess of Wales. Harry, over to you. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.